So, wow, can you believe that Christmas is almost here? I actually have one final ornament that we can make together, and this one is not actually for us. This one is for the birds, the squirrels, and all of the fun little creatures that make my life happy. I mean, I don't know if I would make it through the winters without being able to look outside and watch the birds and the squirrels and everybody just kind of having a grand time. So, this final one is going to be two different kinds of DIY little ornaments for our feathered and furred friends that we can hang outside. One of them won't be ready to hang until at least tomorrow because it needs some time to set up, but the other ones we can hang today because these are pretty much immediate. So let's just get to it. Let's do the easier, like they're both easy, but let's do the ready to hang ones first, and then we'll do the ones that take a little bit more time. So let's get to. All right, so for this, you need some pine cones. Easy enough to get if you're like me and you live in the woods. If you do end up buying them, make sure that they don't have anything on them because these are going out to be eaten by our little animal friends, and we don't want them getting like painted or cinnamon flavored pine cones. I don't think that would be good for them. Then you need some bird seed. Any bird seed you want. I tend to just feed my critters pure black sunflower seeds because that seems to be less waste for me. And the last thing you need is peanut butter. It can be creamy peanut butter. It can be crunchy peanut butter. Doesn't really matter. Peanut butter is good. If you want to do like a natural peanut butter, that might be even better, but I'm just using Walmart's Great Value brand peanut butter, and you'll need some twine. So what you're going to do is you are going to cut a length of twine, just like that. Just mangle it up just exactly the same way I did. Why are these scissors so dull? Or is it just that I am that bad at cutting? Could be that I'm that bad at cutting. And you just want to kind of tie somewhere around the middle. I like using this hemp or jute because it's biodegradable, and I don't worry that it's going to hurt any of my little animal friends. And you just want to leave enough of a length so that you can tie it to whatever you're going to secure it to. And then kind of cut off the little excess. I don't think you have to cut off the excess, especially if you're as bad at cutting as I am. But I also don't think it's going to hurt. So there we go. We've got our little pine cone all tied up. You're going to do that with as many of these as you're going to use. And the next part's fun. The next part, the kids can help with. I mean, the kids can help with all of these, but that's just going to be kind of coating your pine cone in peanut butter. And I don't know about you, but my local animals are insane about peanut butter. They love it. They love it so much that if I put it out all the time, I would be funding the Peanut Butter Society. And it's probably not always good as a primary food source unless you're using like natural peanut butter. I'm sure all that sugar isn't any better for the animals than it is for us, but this is for a Christmas treat for them. Also, you're going to get peanut butter all over your hands like I am, but you know, we will allow it for our animal friends. So there we go. We are nice and coated in peanut butter, looking like a critter snack, definitely. And the last step for this, which, like I said, this is so ridiculously easy, is we're just going to kind of roll it in our bird seed until it's well coated. And then you're just going to kind of set them aside. If you're really smart, you will have set up something on parchment paper, but the parchment paper I have is for our next bird seed ornament. But coat it well. Shake it to get some of that off. And that's it. Then you just go hang it on the tree and watch your little friends have a blast. So that is our first one. I'm going to do some more of these and then get set up for our next ornament. All right, now that that is done and I smell like peanut butter, even after I washed my hands, it's on to our next bird seed treat, which this one takes a little bit more setting up. I have some water boiling in my electric kettle. You will also need 2 packets of unflavored gelatin. You're going to need a half a cup of boiling water, 2-ish cups of your favorite bird seed, again, some more twine, a cookie sheet with parchment on it, and some cookie cutters, which were harder than I was expecting to find. I thought I was going to be able to find big cookie cutters everywhere, but I couldn't. So I only have 2 of them, but I was also thinking it would be fairly easy just to use jar lids. So I'm going to make, obviously these will be ball ornaments. So what you're going to do is you're going to boil a half a cup of water, and you're going to add it to 2 packets of unflavored gelatin. So, funny story about this. I was planning on doing this much earlier, and I very stupidly did not read the packages of gelatin that I bought. And I had bought a box of gelatin. And then I looked at the recipe and it said 2 packets, and I didn't realize that there were 4 packets per box. So I'm going to be making a lot more of these because I don't know what else to use unflavored gelatin for. I'm sure that there's plenty of things that you can use it for. So drop me other ideas. But then again, I kind of like the idea of making things for my bird friends. I'm going to pre-cut our twine. The twine actually won't even come into play until probably tomorrow when these come out of the freezer. I'm going to put mine in the freezer just because I'm honestly afraid if I leave them out downstairs, down here, that the local mice will smell them and there won't be anything for the birds. I don't have like a big mouse problem, but this is a basement and I do live in the woods, so I occasionally get mice, shrews, and little voles down here, which I always feel really bad. Well, I don't feel bad when they have eaten my dry goods in my pantry, but I do feel kind of bad when my cat comes down and does what all cats do. So I try to keep the temptations in the basement to a minimum. Also, just as an FYI, I did some reading on these gelatin-based ornaments. They're fine for birds and things. A lot of places tell you to add corn syrup to it as an additional thickener, but everything I've read said corn syrup really isn't all that great for birds, so kind of leave that out. So I'm going with the recipe without. And if you get above 55 degrees Fahrenheit, these are more apt to melt. So keep that in mind. They also don't store really well. I'm assuming you could probably freeze them, but they don't store much past a week. So if you have low bird activity, or if, say, you just don't really have the temperature, maybe stick with the peanut butter ones. But I am well below 55 Fahrenheit right now, so I think I'll be fine. Water's almost boiled, so we will get on to the next step in just a second. All right, I've got my gelatin in the bowl, and it really did say just a half a cup of hot boiling water, which seems like not enough for 2 cups of seeds, but that's what it said, so that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna stir this up until it dissolves. Yes, this is probably going to be slightly peanut butter flavored because this is the same spatula I was just using, but I think it'll probably be fine. If anything, I think the birds will be even happier about it because there will be a little bit of peanut flavoring. I wonder if you could do this with peanut butter. So we're just gonna, ooh, this stuff reeks. I don't know if it's the fact that it's peanut butter and birdseed plus gelatin that I'm smelling, or if this is just what gelatin smells like normally. Not a flavor I'm into. Makes me wonder about that whole Jell-O thing. All right, and then the final step for the mixing is 2 cups of your favorite birdseed. So there's 1. We'll mix it up a little bit. I can see how a half a cup is probably exactly the amount you need. And here is our 2nd cup of, like I said, sunflower seeds for me, because that's what my birds are used to getting. Everything else that I've ever bought for them kind of just goes to waste, which is sad, but true. So we're just going to kind of mix this up a little bit, let it soak in for a minute or so while we pull over our tray with our few little ornaments. Imagine some heavy air quotes here. So there we go. And then you're just gonna pack the mix into it, trying not to slop it too much, but this is me we're talking about. I slop everything. It's a good thing humans are washable. Otherwise, I would really worry about us. I'm also thinking, I know that birds like stuff like raisins, so that could be a good add-in to your birdseed ornaments. I know that they like dried cherries, dried fruit. You could probably mix in some peanuts. We'll see how well this holds. Maybe they use the regular stuff because it packs in better. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can actually do a candy cane one. I am so messy. This would not be a surprise to anyone who grew up with me. It's not really even a surprise to me. But that's okay, because all of this is going to go out to the birds in some form, even if it's just loose seeds going out to them. I've never made these before. If you have, drop it in the comments below. I am curious to see how yours turned out. I'm very curious to see how these are going to turn out come tomorrow. I'm going to pull up some of this and just kind of add it into my little ball ornaments. Not the best smell. I don't know what it is, but gelatin is not going to be on my list of things that I want as a potpourri, that's for sure. All right, we're just going to pack the last of this into these. And then we're going to move on to the final step before we stick these in the freezer for about 24 hours. And that is putting a hole into them so that you can hang them up. Get the last of this out of the bowl because we don't want to waste anything for my little bird friends. All right, now hopefully this will set up nicely. That is sort of the idea behind it anyway. We're gonna do a fingers crossed type thing. This is also one of those treats for the birds that you have to have some patience for. Although I can feel it already kind of setting up. So the very last thing you're going to do is find something that you can pop in there that can be just a placeholder so that you have some place to put your string when it is time. So I'm just going to pop this little piece of wood in to each one of these, and then I'm going to put these in the freezer, go hang up the peanut butter treats, and probably, fingers crossed everybody, that the birds and everything are into it, I am going to get some footage of hopefully some of my critter friends appreciating their treats. At least that's the intention. So there we go.